rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending.
Zach Wilson heating up in the second half. Zach steps up and goes deep for Milne. Milne is open and makes the catch. Zach in shotgun. Now hit as he throws deep down the near side to Dax. Milne makes the catch. He's going to go! And just like that, BYU on top. The Cougars score on the quarterback keeper from Zach Wilson.
What's Trending, presented by Bodyguards, protection for a life worth living. Learn more at bodyguards.com.
Still hate that teal turf, man.
I don't think we'll ever like it. Even had BYU won the game, we would still not like the color.
I'd be fine with it. I just have negative memories and emotions from that loss.
Oh, Broadway Zach has now taken a backseat to the Broadway show of Aaron Rodgers, one of the GOATs to play quarterback in the NFL. He is now a New York Jet, and interestingly enough, he follows in the footsteps of a former Green Bay Packer great, then New York Jet, Brett Favre. Weird how that worked out, but now Aaron Rodgers is leading the Jets. Zach Wilson is the backup. Jarom, is Aaron Rodgers' trade to the New York Jets a best-case scenario for Zach Wilson, given everything that's gone on over his first 2 NFL seasons?
We certainly hope that Zach can learn some things behind a veteran and then grow and then become an NFL starting quarterback again. I don't see this with the Jets. I don't think the Jets want to give Zach another opportunity in the future to be the starter. I think they're emotionally done with him and physically. Where they brought in another guy to replace him, I think that his future is probably, if he is a starter again in the NFL, is with another team. Ultimately, unfortunately, Zach didn't play well. A first-time play caller in Mike LaFleur. That didn't jive. Now you bring in a veteran play caller, and you bring in Aaron Rodgers.
It was Aaron Rodgers' play caller when he was the MVP.
Yes, in that season. Nathaniel Hackett, who was with the Denver Broncos, fired last year. It's funny how you can be like fired as a head coach, and then suddenly you're like in this great situation with the Jets. Because honestly, last year the Jets were a quarterback away from being a really good team. And Zach did not play well. More interceptions than touchdowns for not only his career but last season. It was tough, and he had moments where he was awesome. He had some real highlights, the fourth quarter against the Steelers early in the season was amazing. That sticks out. But I don't think Zach and the Jets are going to be a thing that is that relevant or interesting. You wish that Zach had had this chance earlier, but when you are the number 2 pick, you are not afforded that in most situations. You are thrown in there because you are supposedly capable of becoming the guy right away. It doesn't always work out. There are guys that have success. There are guys that don't. It's sort of a toss-up. But I hope that Zach in the future gets to be a backup on another team because no one's handing him a starting spot.
Sure.
Unless Rodgers gets hurt and Zach performs well at some point. But Zach needs time to learn. Zach needs time to see what goes on here. He loves Aaron Rodgers. He identified him as much with us on the show leading up to the NFL draft. He even said jokingly, that guy has no swag because he wears like the old school chin strap and whatever. Like, he loves Aaron Rodgers. I think it's going to be cool for Zach to learn there. It's also some humble pie. They brought in someone who clearly is going to be the starter over you, and they were. So hopefully Zach can learn from this. And then I think he has to go to another team and be the backup, and perhaps that starter doesn't play well or gets hurt, and then Zach has his moment. I would love for that to be in a good system, a good situation, where he doesn't have to make a million plays. Like, could Zach Wilson have been Brock Purdy with the Niners? 1,000,000%. Unfortunately, Zach went second to the Jets and not third to the Niners in 21. I think that would have changed Zach's destiny in a lot of ways. You wouldn't have had to deal with Jets and New York and first-time play caller. Instead, you could go to Kyle Shanahan, who develops quarterbacks perhaps better than most, right? The Niners went to the Super Bowl with less than stellar quarterback play from Jimmy Garoppolo, but they had a great defense, a good run game. They have a really nice offense. Like, it almost felt like what the Niners are doing now with quarterbacks is like what BYU used to do, which is like plug and play. The next talented guy comes in and can have some good stats. And hopefully Zach has some kind of situation like that in the future. I just don't see it with the Jets.
I see this as, after everything that has happened, yes, a best-case scenario for Zach, because he's in exactly the scenario I wanted him when he was drafted, which is you have the opportunity to not be thrust immediately into the New York spotlight and be the guy and have to deal with that fan base and all the negative history for decades, it feels like, that has gone on there. They almost want things to go wrong so that they can keep being like, see, look at us. We have no luck. The Jets are a terrible organization.
You have Aaron Rodgers. You have no excuse now.
There is no excuse now. They're a playoff team. Literally overnight, they've become
Super
a
Bowl
playoff
contender.
team. I think it's too dramatic, but the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals are better than the Jets still.
Right, but they are in the mix outside of those teams.
They're a playoff team.
Last year, they were an Aaron Rodgers away from being really interesting. Remember, they were 6-3, and a couple of those losses were super close.
No doubt. No doubt.
They are going to be really fun to watch. Unfortunately, Zach's going to be watching from the sideline.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it's that unfortunate. Like, if he gets to learn behind Aaron Rodgers himself sat behind Brett Favre for how many years? Almost 4? Like, he sat behind Brett Favre for
Aaron
3 full
seasons.
Second pick. No, but he was a first-rounder.
That's why.
He was a first-rounder.
And you had a Hall of Famer in front of you.
And now Zach has the same scenario. He's a first-round draft pick, and he's got a Hall of Famer in front of him. This is the ideal scenario. This is what I wanted for him from the get-go. How many of you have played a video game before? And I know you've done this because we've talked about this, and I've done this. Let's say you're playing your favorite video game and you're trying to like win a championship game and your game's saved where you start at the championship and you just get off to a terrible start in the first quarter. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to play the rest of this out because there's no way I'm going to win this game. Reset. That's what I feel like Zach is going through. And I know some of you, even with Wordle, okay, like it's not going well for you on a phone, so you log into another account and you try your little Wordle, and oh, you got it, congratulations. You reset, okay? Everybody needs a reset sometimes.
The reset is a different team to me. Like, yes, he can gain experience behind Aaron, but the real, like, to what end? The end game for us with Zach is that he becomes a starter again in the NFL. I just don't see it with the Jets.
How long is Aaron Rodgers going to play, though? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years?
I would think it's at least 2.
Okay, so if it's 2 years, why couldn't Zach then be given another chance with the Jets after Aaron Rodgers has taught him and mentored him, and he's been with Nathaniel Hackett?
Feels like the Jets are done with Zach. That they will move on from there.
Or the fan base?
Everybody. It feels like that. In fact, and not exactly this, but when Zach was here, I asked him about this Aaron Rodgers situation and whatnot, and kind of how he's handling it. Here's his answer. And you finished your second season in the NFL. Certainly, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets talk. How have you handled kind of everything that's going on with you and the team this offseason?
Yeah, just being present, loving life, enjoying family, enjoying the guys, and just understanding I got to play football for a living, and there's nothing better than that. So just absorbing every day and just giving everything I got.
And he certainly will. I think ultimately, in this regard, had Zach played a full normal season without COVID, and numbers would have been down a little bit, playing like 5P5, still would have been good. What if he had gone in the first or second round to non-Jets? I just think his
then he's in an Aaron Rodgers
trajectory would have been better. He would have been in a better situation. I'm just bummed for him because he certainly got an opportunity to show what he got, but it might have just been too early. I think COVID got him drafted way earlier than he would have been normally, which is awesome for his signing bonus. Don't get me wrong. Like, his pockets are full, which is great. Not a huge issue, but that's awesome. But now it's like, oh, shoot. I just think he's going to have to go to another team to really actually get a chance to be an NFL quarterback now. Because behind Aaron Rodgers, he's certainly the backup. If Aaron gets hurt, Zach's going to get a chance again, but then it's absolutely it if it doesn't work out with the Jets.
I hope that that's not the case. I hope that he gets another shot with the Jets. I really do. And I believe that if he's going to get another shot with the Jets, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to him.
I hope he signs with someone else when he has the chance, that he learns whatever he needs to learn, and that he goes to a more capable situation later.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I've never wanted him with the Jets from the start.
I know. Clearly.
Clearly. Obviously, it hasn't worked out. It has not worked out in any way. Okay, topic 2. Does the Zach Wilson situation influence what we want for Jaren Hall in the NFL draft?
Yes. If you've listened to anything that we've just talked about, specifically I've just talked about, it's okay to go into the league and be slowly implemented into the speed of the game, the preparation for the game, all the little nuances that go into it. And hopefully Jaren Hall is learning from a solid quarterback like Zach Wilson is now going to do with Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be tough to get behind a Hall of Famer because there are only a few of those in the league right now. But if Jaren Hall can get behind a guy in Minnesota or maybe in, I I mean, New England, there should be some veteran guys there. We'll see what happens.
Like a veteran starter?
Yeah, just a veteran. If it's Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, great. I think that would be an ideal situation for Jaren.
Like Rams behind Stafford would be good.
Awesome. That's the same
Seahawks
deal.
behind Geno, I would love.
Great.
Yeah.
Any of those guys, like a veteran starter, where Jaren can just learn and grow.
Where it's only like a year or two.
Take his time.
Yes.
Right? Before he finally gets thrust into the spotlight, but he feels ready. He's like, okay, I've been behind the starter for 2 or 3 full seasons. Like, I'm ready now. I'm ready. Jordan Love is that guy in Green Bay. Like, I want Jaren Hall to have the Jordan Love path where he goes and learns behind somebody great, and then it's like,
have his chance.
Here you go.
We have no clue if Jordan Love's ready. You know what I mean? Like, he'll play, and then we'll just see. Ultimately, that's what it boils down to. One thing against Jaren Hall is his age. He's 25. He is older. His window for sort of being in the NFL is a little smaller. So hopefully Jaren can get kind of some good experience as a backup. And then when his time is called, he's got to be ready. His window is a little shorter than Zach's in this regard. And then the other thing is this. These are completely different situations. They don't equate to me in any way, shape, or form. Jaren Hall is not going to be asked to do anything that Zach Wilson was asked. Jaren Hall is expected to be a backup. Maybe even the third string on a team. Just depends who likes him and what they want him for and what's the situation. Do they have their starter with the veteran that he'll compete with as backup? Like, Jaren has the luxury of doing what we wanted for Zach. Granted, Zach probably would have gone late first or in the second, but we're hoping Jaren goes third and is a backup behind a veteran somewhere. So not super similar in my mind, but we're excited for Jaren to get what Zach didn't, which is time. Time to figure this out, because being an NFL quarterback is hard no matter how good you were in college.
Yeah, the age thing is certainly interesting. I mean, literally in one season, the average starting quarterback in the NFL went from 28 and a half years old to 25 and a half. So a 3-year difference, meaning like the torch was passed to guys like Zach Wilson and Tua Tagovailoa.
Once you become the starter, it takes time.
It was a weird shift in one season where the average age of a starting quarterback went down 3 years. So if Jaren's a starting quarterback at 28 and a half, which is what I think it will build up to again as these young guys finally just keep going and last in the league a little bit longer, it's fine. If he's a starting quarterback by the time he's 28 or 29, ideal.
And honestly, I don't even need Jaren to be a starter. I just want him to be in the NFL. Like, BYU needs dudes in the NFL. It's okay if you're not the starting guy. Like with Jimmer Fredette, we were like, all or nothing. It's like, well, what if Jimmer was just a backup on a team still in the league? Like, we'd be happier than we are now, would we not?
Yeah, well, for sure. For sure.
We'd be like, you lasted.
Like, you're in the league.
I
yes.
want Jaren Hall in the NFL for 6 seasons.
You can plug and play any former BYU guy.
Yeah.
Throw in the name. We want that for that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't need a Hall of Fame career or first team, whatever. Just be in the NFL, dog.